Yeah, sometimes you've got more control than you think. The song is Steer. It's Missy Higgins here on ABC Newcastle and ABC New South Wales. Thanks for having us on at your place today. It's 6 to 11. You know that old expression, if you can't beat them, join them? Well, how do you combat the rise of artificial intelligence in schools? Well, you develop your own generative app. That's the plan of the New South Wales Department of Education, which is about to roll out New South Wales EduChat. It's apparently a secure department-owned generative artificial intelligence tool, which is designed to ensure security, privacy and equity while offering tailored content for the New South Wales education environment. Professor Susan Ledger is the Dean of Education at University of Newcastle and joins us to reflect on this development. Susan, thanks for doing that, by the way. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Paul?
Good. So what do we know about this app? What will it actually do?
Well, look, it was rolled out in the first semester with about 16 schools, and it's supposed to help teachers and students upskill, I suppose, and work with AI effectively and in discerning ways. So I've been really impressed that the department has stepped up and provided this initiative because it's a great thing to upskill students and teachers in AI. As you said, let's work with it.
Yeah. I mean, you can't just ignore it and stick your head in the sand.
That's right. And they've sort of approached it in 3 ways: teaching and learning, assessment and administrative roles, so how it can impact those 3 roles, as every workplace is doing at the moment. They're looking at impact AI. The department, I think, has been great by stepping up and being involved and using it as a tool to upskill its population of students.
Susan, how do you feel as an educator about artificial intelligence? You'd be wary, of course, of students submitting work that's not their own, but we tend to have a totally pessimistic view of artificial intelligence. I love the idea of staying home one day and the computer does this show. It'd have to put all the mistakes in the right places, of course, to fool everybody. But, I mean, there are benefits that come from artificial intelligence, obviously.
Oh, look, we've seen those benefits over a long time. AI is not new. This latest one with the conversation and, the conversation piece is probably the newest one. We've had before them, there's 7 types of AI, and we've been living with that, with banks, with automated, with anomalies, a whole range of things. So this is just a new approach. As with any technology, like the 1980s when we banned the calculators, it didn't last or do well. So we know banning didn't help, and that's why I'm impressed that the department has actually stepped up ahead and provided something that actually teaches students and teachers, how to be a bit more discerning with a tool that we don't quite know what its limits are.
It's really interesting, Susan. The stuff that we put in our heads or occupy our ROM with is really interesting, isn't it? Because we've got, I remember Einstein was quizzed in an interview by a journalist. He was asked his home phone number and he said, why would I occupy my mind with something that I can write down? Didn't know his own home phone number. Not much has changed. A lot of us still can't say our phone numbers. But the point is, I mean, what do we want our kids to have in their heads when they come out of school? Is it facts or is it something else?
Look, I think that's a really, really good question, Paul, and it's something I've always sort of struggled with. Our Australian curriculum is very good. We have a 3-dimensional Australian curriculum, of which one side is our subjects and our content. The other side is our general capabilities, and that's all of the technologies, the emotional stuff, physical, etc. And then we have the cross-curricular priorities about Indigenous knowledges, Asian knowledge and sustainability. So all in all, it's a fantastic curriculum, but we tend to always focus on just the subject and the content. And that's, I think, the piece that AI is going to help us more with. And we actually need to pivot and go into the general capabilities so that once those capabilities are developed, which is the personal piece, which the AI piece might do, I think that's going to be actually really useful. I think our curriculum was designed possibly with this in mind, but it might mean us pivoting what we do. Because we can get content anywhere, anytime now. It's so quick to get content. It's how to teach students to be a bit more discerning about what they do and how they analyse and know whether that content is real or not, the whole world of misinformation that's out there. Our job is to actually support students and teachers to actually understand and be discerning.
And how to compare and contrast the data too so that they can arrive at decisions. It's the other part of that. Susan, you're just cutting out there, but I appreciate you chatting with us today. Thanks so much for coming on.
No worries. Thanks very much. Sorry, I'm cutting out. Apologize.
No, that's okay. It happens. Telstra doesn't like our program today or something. Something's intervening. That's a couple of calls in a row where we've had just the odd word getting lost in translation there. Susan Ledger is a professor and the Dean of Education at the University of Newcastle.